I had a long career in primarily pharmaceutical sales and really enjoyed what I did and didn't really understand all of the aspects because I never was able to really articulate what I did well until later when I did my own YouMap and strengths. That it was really when I said it was about the patients and the people, for me, it really did relate back to my key values and the strengths and really how I worked. And I always enjoyed the mentoring and training aspect of it. And then as the industry continued to change and evolve and downsize, one of the companies I'd worked for quite some time, for almost 17 years, I was downsized and then worked a series of shorter term contracts jobs that didn't pan out or things didn't come to fruition, as it does very commonly in the pharmaceutical world. And one of my, the last downsizing, I was like, I really suck at interviewing and I'm just tired of this. I need a coach. And I went on LinkedIn like a deer in headlights because normally, as most people do, they just go on there when it's like, oh crap moment. And it's like, I need to find a job. And here's this person, Kristin and Char, and she's like posting this stuff. And I'm like, wow. And, I sent her a message or something and just said, wow, I really like this. And she's like, well, what are your strengths? And of course I'm rattling off stuff that I have no idea. And then I was like, blah, 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 I'm really good at this. And it was nothing. And so with working with Kristin, I still continue to interview because I'm the reluctant entrepreneur. I don't necessarily consider myself an entrepreneur. I consider myself someone who really wants to, make a difference and work with people. And this is the avenue that I get to do it. And so finally, through, job opportunities not coming together, and then some that did, but they just weren't the right fit for me. And then in my gut, I knew it was really clear that that's not the world that I wanted to be in, even though monetarily, yes, it was very good and would have been a better fit for my family and all other circumstances, but made the decision to go all in. And I think going through the process of working with Kristin and seeing how it really brought all the pieces together, that's what I wanted to do for others. And when you were speaking earlier, I think that's the magic of how YouMap works for so many different people, regardless of what they're utilizing it for, what type of coach, because it really is holistic, that it looks at the whole person. And that was the first time I had experienced that. And seeing that for myself, going, oh my gosh, I remember telling Kristin, like, wow, this makes sense that I did this. And I never really understood. And wow, it would have been so much better if I could have said, oh, well, I do this because blah, blah, blah. Instead of going, well, you think everybody does that. And then understanding what you value and what just is a deal breaker for you and your motivating skills and really what's aligned to you is such a joy to do that, to have that, to work with clients and give them that experience. And so that's what I'm just thrilled to be doing.
You brought up a very interesting point. Kristin mentioned that she is an accidental entrepreneur. And Lori, you mentioned that you're a reluctant entrepreneur. Sometimes it's so important to break free from your your own limiting beliefs and just basically carve out, what you really passionate about. And Lori, and that's I think was the breakthrough for yourself. And Lila would come from a corporate background as well in sales and corporate communications. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, all of the people that I brought, that are on this call with me right now, are part of that journey. So
Yep.
it's really an exciting group of women plus the two of you guys to talk with about this. We've all worked with each other. Lori is my YouMap coach of choice to recommend for young people who are coming into a new set of opportunities. I think that the right coach being the right fit for the right person for the right needs is just as important as being able to see all of the elements of a person that you will be coaching. So, and Char has given me my own personal YouMap friendly exercise and health and wellness guidance.
Char wants to add something.
I just want to add something. Like Lila is saying, Lila has an interesting, her YouMap is interesting that I've worked with Kristin and Lila, is that their YouMap tends to match their exercises of choice.
Right. Char sends me these texts because she really gets people. She gets their YouMap and she thinks about the whole person. And I worked with Kristin, who told me, okay, a lot of people on LinkedIn say you communicate well, but did you know that that's your number one driver strength? And I was like, I mean, everybody can communicate pretty well, right? And she's like, no, not everyone can. And you do this exceptionally well. You always say things better. And it was from Kristin saying, say things better, and a bunch of other people saying it too. I had to be hit in the face over and over and over again with other people telling me what I was good at for me to even acknowledge it for myself. And so before I created Say Things Better as a methodology, I first had to have any kind of awareness of what I could bring to the world. And YouMap did that for me. So I created my communication coaching business, and then I went into the e-commerce side of myself. The last full-time job I had, I was at a company for 3.5 years, and I was their director of e-commerce and communication. And so I went into the e-com side of myself and productized and went through my inventory until I had 5 steps. I had broken it down into what I thought were 5 steps that could help people connect the way that I did intuitively in a way that would be intentional. So that was what I founded Say Things Better, based on those principles and tools that I used as an actress, which I had learned and studied and practiced for 20 years, and 10 years of those professional acting in New York and around the country. I've performed in over 100 cities in the United States. And I actually had a process of being intentional in communicating on stage. And I used it. I used that theater experience, my own communication talent that I broke down into a process. And I'm trying to evangelize a whole world full of intentional communicators because I know what power there is in this. And I believe in it with every single bit of my heart and soul.
Beautifully said, Lila. And I'd like to actually sort of just touch upon something which you've said right at the end. It's so important for them to have the intent to actually do the things that are required. That's very, very important.
I do want is to see people share parts of their story more intentionally in order to reach someone with an actual message. Everybody has a story that's interesting, and not just interesting, but powerful. We all have made hard decisions. We all have experienced hardship. We all have lifted up somebody else in some way that's unique to us, how we do that. We've all taught somebody else something that's unique to us and how we do that. And those are the things that I want to see people sharing. What can you come to me for? That, if I have to pay you for it, I'll do it. But what can I come to you for that I can't just go to anybody else for? Tell me those parts of your story.
What differentiates you? That's so important. What makes you different? What actually, allows you to provide that value, which is actually meaningful and is actually going to make a difference to the other person around you or in front of you.
Yeah.
And that is so important. You put it very, very nicely, and would like to actually thank each and every one of you for giving us the perspectives from the different backgrounds that you all have come from to a certain extent, and the different YouMap options that you'll specialize in. Thank you so much for all your time. Really appreciate it. It is our pleasure, Joy and I, to have the 4 of you amazing ladies sharing with us your journeys and how you're actually making a difference to not just your own lives, but to others' lives around you.